Hey everybody, Josh from Populi here. As things start to ramp up in a school year, you might be looking for ways of saving time. And one way you can do that is by using videos that we create to help students sort of proactively answer questions that might come up. So if you can get those videos out to students and they can find them, then they'll be able to get help with registering for courses or submitting a file online in a course, that sort of thing, so that you can field fewer questions. So we're going to look at some ideas about how you can use videos and documentation to orient students to Populi. Before we get into the detail there, I did want to cover kind of a distinction that applies to the way that videos work. Obviously, you could link to videos two different ways. One way is directly to a video. We have our YouTube channel, and so you could go find a video on YouTube and then link directly to that video that way. The only problem is that because Populi is a software that updates on an ongoing basis, that video might eventually become obsolete. So if you've built an orientation course that has a bunch of these linked videos in it, then you would have to go through and change all of those links. On the knowledge base, we post all those videos in specific articles there. So if a video becomes obsolete, we'll go into that article and change the old video out for the new one, which means that if you link to that article, you'll keep your information that you're distributing to students up to date there. That will follow the updates that we make. So that's a good way of protecting your work and not having to go through and constantly update those videos there. You can let us do that for you. Obviously, there are still times when you might want to grab a specific link to a video from YouTube or embed a video in a course. Kind of the rule of thumb there is that if you're speaking to a particular situation, then it makes sense to send out a specific video. So if you're, say, sending an email out to students who are going to be registering for the first time, grabbing the actual link to the video and putting that in an email and sending that out makes complete sense. But if you have a more static situation, say you have an orientation course or just a faculty course with orientation material on it, and you're going to want to keep those courses cloned into each successive term without having to check every link there. On those situations, it makes sense to link to the knowledge base article. And that'll save you the trouble of having to update those links constantly. For this video, we're thinking longer term here. That's what our examples are all based in. So we're just going to focus on using those knowledge base articles. So let's get into some details about how admins on one hand and then faculty on the other might use these videos a little bit differently. A couple of ideas about how you might approach that. First of all, admins might pin a news item on the feed that just stays there, maybe for a long time, from term to term, that has crucial information for students listed there that's linking directly to those knowledge base articles with videos right there on the feed, so that students, when they hit their homepage, can always be aware that they have access to that information right there. The other way that admins might use this is on a particular orientation course. The way that they would do that most typically would just be to go in to have a lesson that's maybe dedicated to getting familiar with Populi or something like that. And then they would have whatever context they're going to give there, and then a few links that they want students to follow and watch those videos so they can glean some information about how to use Populi well. Faculty, on the other hand, would typically use this on a specific course. So say you've got an English 101 course, you have a lot of students who are entering, just using Populi for the first time. You could have an initial lesson on that course that contains links to videos that would help students out. So we're going to take a quick look at setting each of these different types of things up. Okay, so first we'll look at, from the admin perspective, setting up a pinned news item. That happens right here under Home, and then Manage News. And you'll go to Add News. And then here, you're going to go in and enter the title, and then any explanatory text that you need. And then we're going to go ahead and put in the titles for each of these videos. We're going to add links to them in just a minute. Okay, so now this post is basically set up, but what we want to do is go grab the actual URLs so that we can link directly to these articles. So to do that, I'm going to go up here and click Help. I'm going to click Search the Knowledge Base, and then I will just search for one of those articles. You can see here, I've got how do I register for courses. I'm going to go up into the URL bar here, and I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go back into Populi. I'm going to highlight registering for classes, and then go up here and click on this link button. And then right there, I'm going to input the URL that I copied, and then I'll save. And then obviously you would do the same for the rest of these titles here, just associating the title with the correct video from the knowledge base. And then one other note here, if you want to keep this post at the top of the feed so that as other news items come in, it doesn't get pushed down out of students' view, you could go over here and click Pin, set that to yes. Then you would just be able to save that article there. And then you'll see that there. And let's go to the dashboard and have a quick look at that. Here we go, getting familiar with Populi, and then those links there for students to access. Now let's go over and look at adding help articles with videos to a specific lesson on a course. This is going to be the same in both of the scenarios that we described. If you're an admin creating content on a course, or if you're faculty creating content on a course. We're just going to be adding these videos as links to a lesson. So first of all, we'll go to the lesson. We're going to use, as an example, an orientation course, but obviously this could be any course. We're going to go to lessons right here, and then we're going to go over to add a lesson. We're going to enter a name, and then we're just going to check our availability and the behavior that we want for this. If there's something, if you want to gate the lesson here, obviously you would use this option, but we'll just leave that unclicked and then save. Now we're going to go in, click into the actual lesson, and then go into design. Here where it says add a section, we're going to click on link. And this is again where the type of content that you're going to add to a course is going to be different for admins and faculty. So if you're an admin, you might put a registering for courses article in here. But if you're faculty, you would usually put something that's going to be more like how to take an online test or how to submit a file for an assignment. So we'll add a title there, grab that URL from the knowledge base, and then just pop that right in there. Then you have an option here to require students to click this link. That's optional. Basically what will happen is this lesson won't be completed until a student has clicked that link and followed it. We don't track whether or not they've watched the video, but we do track whether or not they've at least clicked on that link. You can then save that, and then that'll be right there. Obviously, you would typically build this out with a little more context, give somebody, some explanatory text here. We're not going to go into exactly how to design a lesson, but once you've added one of those links, you would go in and just add the next link there as well. Okay, so that's how you'll get those resources out there and make them available for students to access easily. Hopefully being able to get some information out there proactively will save you time instead of having to field individual questions from students. You at least deal with some of those issues up front here. Also, just as a little bonus, we're going to grab some of the URLs to particularly useful articles that students might need, and we'll include those in the description down below. Thanks very much for using Populi. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notifications bell, ding, ding, ding. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.